Well, hello, good to see you once again, and may I say Happy Easter to you. If you celebrate it religiously, then I hope it's a wonderful, warm time of year for you. And if it is for you just a time when the bunny rabbit brings you a chocolate egg, then, well, I hope it's nice for you as well anyway. So Happy Easter, and I suppose speaking of bunny rabbits, I have something for you today which sort of involves bunny rabbits that the dogs chase anyway. I have for you a greyhound racing system here that I've been using for, it must be a couple months now, maybe a little bit more. I've spent a bit of time making sure that it works, for the simple reason that sometimes I bring you a system and it looks good, but it turns out to have only worked for a short period of time, and then in the few weeks afterwards sometimes it doesn't work so well. So I've wanted to give this one a fair bit more time to prove that it is quite consistent, and I'm quite happy with it. So I thought I'd bring it to you today as a little Easter gift of sorts, I suppose. This is looking at odds-on runners in greyhound racing across Australia, UK and New Zealand. So it doesn't really seem to matter where these run, it seems to work regardless. What is slightly different about what I'm doing with this is it is another stop-at-a-winner system, but there has been some interesting feedback from viewers about the stop-at-a-winner system, sometimes requiring some quite large bets and some quite large risk to recover what becomes quite modest and small profits. So this is doing kind of the opposite. I've actually got a very tight stop-loss on this, so that the bets don't blow out in size. This does, of course, mean that it's not going to win every day, but there will be smaller losses along the way, but they will be recoverable. It may take a few days, but they will be recoverable. Whereas you do sometimes find with a larger stop-loss in stop-at-a-winner that you can end up with a loss that is quite a bit larger. You have many days of little wins along the way, but then this big loss, and that can wipe out a month of wins. This does the opposite. Your losses maybe are going to take a few days to recover. So let's have a little look at the Stop-at-a-Winner Greyhounds Deluxe software, which of course, as always, I do have a link to in the description below. This at the moment I've got it looking at yesterday's results. I've been doing a daily reset on this, and you can see here yesterday it made $2.11. $2.11, quite modest, a little profit there, but what was that based on? That was based on a 10-cent profit per race. As you can see here, I've got it set to chasing a 10-cent profit per race. We're stopping each tab when it gets to 95 cents profit. You could go $1, I suppose. I've gone 9.5 times the amount that I'm chasing per race, because the bot will stop when it exceeds its target, not when it hits the target. So 9.5 means basically 10 wins, and that tab's done. And then similar here, 9.95 is the overall stop profit for the entire bot. I haven't seen a day where I've had anywhere near enough races to reach that, but it's there anyway. And importantly, the stop loss on each tab is set at $3. So that being 30 times the race target, I've got 30 times that, so $3 as the stop loss for each tab. So let's have a little look at yesterday's results. And this starts in the morning with Warragul in Australia. There's was 4 winners in a row here. A couple at Warragul, one at Manawatu in New Zealand, and one at the new racetrack in Queensland, the Q1 racetrack. And then you can see a couple losses. That recovers with a win at Warrnambool. Then there's a win at Addington, 2 losses in a row, a win at Addington, a loss at Warrnambool, 3 winners in a row across Wentworth Park and Hobart, and that got us to our profit target for that tab. We look at tab 2, and we've had while tab 1's been running, so this is run from 11:13 in the morning to 7:57 in the evening, there's been one race that's overlapped there, so Warrnambool in the afternoon. That was a win that ended up in tab 2. After 8 in the evening, so when tab 1 has finished, tab 2's picked up, become the main focus of activity. You can see the UK has started, Nottingham, there's a win there. Sandown Park, a loss, but then a win at Bendigo. Wins at Wentworth Park and Oxford, loss at Angle Park, Hobart, Sandown Park, so 3 in a row there, but then a win at Mandurah in Western Australia. Loss at Central Park in the UK, and looks like we're done with Australian racing. We've got wins at Towcester, Central Park, Valley, loss at the Valley, then win at Newcastle. And this has carried us through to 6:10 in the morning. Tab 3 has had a couple overlaps, a loss at Hobart, a win at Dapto, and that's done there, and then nothing more. So that is a winning day. I'll show you the spreadsheet of results so far. So I've got yesterday in here, the $2.11 win there. Now, I've taken a little bit of inspiration off the hard and soft staking in terms of what I'm doing with targets here and progressions. So I'm only increasing the bet size, so the profit target per race, and therefore all of the other targets, after a winning day. So if we have a look at the last few days here, I've actually had 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row of losses. A $9.15 loss, a $2.90 loss, an 89-cent loss, and a $4.28 loss. So those have stayed at 10 cents the whole way. Because I've had a win yesterday, $2.11, I'm going to increase today to 20 cents as the base target and adjust all of the other targets accordingly. What we can see here, let me just scroll back a bit. Scroll back up to, as you can see, I've had, we're in April now, so I've had about 2 months worth of results here, and you can see here a win of 91 cents, here 460. So that 91 cents that first day hit the soft target, second day we hit the hard target, so then reset back to 10 cents. Basically that hard and soft staking approach of increasing each day. And yes, if I end up at 50 cents as my race target, then the hard target is going to reset to the soft target. The same dynamics there. And you can see this first, what are we looking at here? The first 8 days here were very good, just straight profit day after day after day. Then I've hit a loss here, $3.93 loss. Then the next day a $1.30 loss, then a $3.53 win. Now that hasn't recovered all of those losses, but an increase for the next day to 20 cent target, and that's had a $4.26 win. So that's got us to $24.11 overall, which has then reached that target. So we set a $24.11 target there, increase the bet size again, and another winning day, so then we can reset here to 10 cents. So overall, that had a nice period here. It had a harder period here. As you can see, starting on the 10th of March, it's had a bit of a rough trot. Now, none of this has been particularly bad, except you could probably say there's a couple days here that have had some larger losses. But overall, it's been a leaner period for sure, but it has then come back nicely towards the end here, and yeah, it's taken a little while, but eventually it's come good. And we started off here looking for a 61.09 target, and when we finish this series down here, we're up to $83.12. So it has worked out in the end. It's been, as I say, it's been a little bit of a slower run there, Then you can see it's picked up the pace a little bit here. It's still a little bit slower than where we started, but it's picked up the pace. Now, these last few days haven't been great, but the pattern of this is fairly consistent. Now, I was interested in strike rates. I haven't been keeping track of strike rates for this because it's not entirely relevant, but the last 10 days I've just done a quick calculation of the strike rates, and you can see yesterday, winning day, 63%. The day before was a loss at 57%, but the strike rates don't really track to whether it's a winning or a losing day. You can see here, for example, there's a 69% strike rate on a losing day, even a 62% strike rate on a losing day, and a 50% strike rate on a winning day. I mean, obviously, the more winners the better, but what's more important here is the losses in a row. You can have a day with a low strike rate. You could have win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, or even loss, loss, win, loss, loss, win, loss, loss, win, and still come out with a winning day. What's important is the number of losses in a row. And if we go back to the bot for a moment, you can see here, for example, here 3 losses in a row, but it's recovered. Probably it would have needed 4 or 5 losses in a row to actually hit that stop loss in that tab. I will have a look at a previous day. If I just pull up a previous day's results in Excel. Okay, so I've just pulled up the results from the previous day, which we saw was a losing day, and you can see in the overall total there, minus 89 cents. We'll have a look at, just have a look through the tabs here. So tab 1 was actually a winning day that made $1.02. Tab 2, just flick over to tab 2. Tab 2 was where the stop loss occurred. So you can see here it actually had 1, 2, 3, 4 losses in a row. So that was enough to hit the stop loss there. So that will happen. Of course, that will happen from time to time. But as I say, overall what I'm seeing is that because the stop loss is kept quite tight, the losses on those down days are recoverable. Now, a question I do get asked a little bit occasionally is about scalability of these. I tend to show you things at quite low stakes for when I've been testing them at low stakes. So this looking at 10 cents per race. Could this be scaled up? Could I maybe do $1 per race as the base? It'd be possible. The issue, I think, might be with some of the smaller races where it might become difficult to get matched at higher levels. This one here, for example, after the 2 losses, no, that was 2 losses in a row, sorry. Here, $1.37 was the stake required. So we're still chasing that 10-cent profit overall. 10 cents plus the previous losses. $1.37, so if we were doing 10 times it'd be $13.70. That's possible. There's a reasonable chance you'd get matched on that. Where I think you might have trouble is if I have a look at the spreadsheet here, you can see this tough run here that I had, where I ended up at one stage a base stake of $1.20. Now, I can tell you from memory, not all of those got fully matched. So certainly if the base stake had started at $1 and then gone up to, would have been, what, $12, definitely a bunch of those wouldn't have been matched, and that's going to impede your ability to make the targets. But it's possible. I don't know that I'd necessarily go to $1. Maybe 50 cents would be a better position to start at. But yeah, there is a little bit of scalability in this if you wanted to scale it up. So that's, as I say, in the Stop at a Winner Deluxe system. Now, what I'm just going to do, because there's actually a race about to start and I'm not set up for today yet, so I'm just going to quickly show you how I reset for the next day. So I stop the bot there, and then I hit the clear button. I just wait for that to clear out the profit there. Okay, so then today rather, I'm going to a 20-cent base stake here, so I'll just change that to there. This is 9.5 times that, so that'll be $1.90. This 99.5 will become $19.90, and the stop loss being 30 times the base target will be $6. Now I then close the bot. I've just hidden the desktop just to make this a little bit easier to see, but if I then go into the folder where the bot lives, I grab the results files, so the tabs 1 through 10 as well as the all results file, cut those from there, and then I keep an archive of results in folders here. So this is something I usually do in the morning. It's actually the afternoon now when I'm doing this. I just keep them sorted by date so that I can easily go back and have a look at results. So that means that when I open the bot, it is going to be completely blank. There'll be no results in it. Excuse me while I log into Betfair. And then the bot takes a few moments to load the races. I've actually just missed the first race of the day. That does happen sometimes when I'm not quite on time, but that's okay. I don't know if that race would have even qualified. So then we can see here the just running through these settings, because I don't know if I ran through them properly earlier. I've been doing odds on for the dogs, but I've been a little bit careful about the odds range. I've actually been doing a minimum price of 120. I don't want to go much lower than that. Stop at a winner staking can be very aggressive when you are in the odds on runners, and when you're down at the $1.20 you're not going to get many opportunities if you have a loss. And below that, I just don't think it's really worth the bet. Sure, below $1.20, very good chance the dog's going to win, but if it loses, it's a large expense for very little gain. To me, not worth it. $1.90 is my maximum here. I've decided not to go all the way up to $2 or even $1.99. Simple reason that I want it to be a dog that the market is quite certain should be odds on. If it's over $1.90, I think the market's hedging its bets a little. So I'd rather go with $1.90. Also, Betfair prices tend to be a little bit higher than the corporate bookmakers and the TAB, so most of the time if I'm looking at a dog that's about $1.90 on Betfair, it's probably going to be closer to about $1.80 to $1.85 on the corporates and the TAB. So it's one that not only does the Betfair market consider it to be odds on, but the bookmakers and the tote certainly consider it to be odds on as well. And I think that having all of that combined to me is important. Minimum matched, 2,500. That's just ensuring that A, there's a little bit of money in the market, B, the odds are actually somewhat reflective of what people think. Runners, well, I've just left that open, 1 to 25. I mean, you're never going to see 25 dogs in a race. You know, I could just set that 1 to 8, really doesn't matter. I don't mind how many dogs are in the race, is what I'm saying. I'm betting 15 seconds before the race, and you've already seen what I've got set up here. Importantly, the continue box is ticked for the stop at profit, so we continue after a winning race, but the tabs close at their profit. The bot overall would close at its overall profit, and the tabs will close because these boxes are unticked if it hits a stop loss, and then activity would move to the next tab. So that's all set, so I'm just going to hit start. And the next race up is at Healesville. That's still 10-15 minutes away. So that's what I'm doing there, the Stop at a Winner Greyhound Deluxe bot. Quick link in the description below as usual. I just wanted to quickly have a look at some interesting news. We see a lot of stories lately about greyhound tracks closing. I know there have been a few greyhound tracks in the UK that have closed. New Zealand is looking like it will certainly ban greyhound racing very soon. I know the Parliament has decided they will. There's still a bit of a challenge on that, so I'm hopeful that the New Zealand greyhound racing industry is able to have that overturned, but it's not looking good. Here in my hometown of Canberra, the local government shut down greyhound racing a few years ago. Still a lovely greyhound track out there, just sitting there doing nothing. But in the UK, even though we have seen a few greyhound tracks closing, here's some good news. There's a greyhound track that's opening in autumn. Here's a story from the BBC. There's a track that's opening over at Wolverhampton Racecourse. Now, those of you who've seen my videos for a while know that I'm a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan in the English Premier League, so certainly some slight interest, extra interest for me there, being Wolverhampton. But yeah, at Wolverhampton Racecourse, they're building a greyhound racing track to complement the horse racing there, which is Dunstall Park apparently. Unfortunately, it's not quite a complete new track. I mean, it is a new track, but it's not a completely new extra track, is what I'm saying, because it's going to replace Perry Barr. The races at Perry Barr are going to shift over to Wolverhampton. But good to see a new track anyway. Good to see, obviously, some of the older tracks. When they've been shutting down some of the tracks, they have been citing some of the age and some of the safety concerns at some of the older tracks as reasons. Well, it's good to see that if they're going to close a track, that there is a replacement and it's a new facility. In fact, we've just seen that recently in Queensland. The new Q1 racetrack has opened, lovely new facility up there. So it's good to see that it's not all doom and gloom in the greyhound racing industry. The future is potentially looking bright, and good to see a new track opening in England, good to see a new track in Queensland, and hopefully we get to see new tracks all over the place. We've had a new track in Western Australia recently as well, so, well, not exactly a new track, a refurbished track, I should say. But good to see. There is still a light of glimmer of hope in the greyhound racing industry, so good to see. Anyway, that's this for today. I hope Easter is very good to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, happy punting.